Hey everyone, it's Christine with Momspiration412, founder of EduPlay. Welcome to our weekly show. We do this every Monday at 9 p.m. And what we do is we talk about these motherhood topics. So it's called Motherhood Challenging Yet Rewarding because I think that's a huge part of motherhood to know that there are challenges along the way. And, it's going to be tough. And the thing is about this Momspiration 412 group is the fact that we can be here for each other, that we can support each other, that, we really just want to be that encouragement that we need because it's so important. And the fact also that then after you get through those challenges, you start to see those rewards. One thing that I noticed just even this week, Alex will wake up from his nap or from any time, and some mornings in the morning he's just grumpy. He doesn't want to say good morning. I'll be sitting here at the desk and he'll walk right past me, and it kind of like gets a dagger in my heart because all I want is for him to come over and give me a big hug and say good morning, mom. And some mornings he just isn't into that. And then the one day this week he came right down, smile on his face, and walked over and gave me that big hug. And it's just, we have to remember that, there's going to be those moments that it's going to be rough. It's going to be tough. They were up late last night, or their food schedule is off, or this whole, quarantine stuff, their schedules have been thrown way off. And they're going to have those moments that are just so tough for them. But then once they cuddle up in your lap, once they say, hey, mommy, can you read a story to me? Hey, can you color a picture with me? Those are the moments. Those will tear at your heartstrings and say, yes, like I've got this. I'm doing a great job. Trust me, we all have them. We all have our moments, and our kids all have their moments. There's yelling at times because I'm frustrated, they're frustrated, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, just snuggle them up close and cherish each moment with them. So thank you all so much for hopping on tonight. I really just love to come to you with all of these great tips and tricks for, motherhood and challenging, things that we go through. So if you're here, let me know that you're here. Hey, Melissa and Jessica and Emma. Hi, everyone out there. And let me know what you guys are most interested in learning about tonight or knowing more about. So we're going to talk just briefly about making friends, because I know a lot of moms, in the moms groups that we see, hey, I have no mom friends. And that's natural. I mean, we get to a point, either it could be our age, it could be, we have kids and we move away. It could be the fact that, we have kids and we're growing apart because we're raising them differently. We're doing things differently. So, I mean, that's totally natural. So if you are looking for mom friends, I have some kind of tips and tricks. Today is Best Friends Day. So I have so many best friends out there. I'm going to give them all a huge shout out today, because I'm not going to name them because I don't want to leave anyone out, because I know I will. So huge shout out to all my best friends out there. You all know who you are, and you all are them. So everyone in this group, my best friend, because I just love having you here. So if it is that, let me know. Let me know that you guys are looking for some friends. Let me know if you guys are looking for more information about EduPlay. I know I have a lot of new moms in this group, and I just started really kind of talking more about the next steps of EduPlay. So I'll talk a little bit about that today as well. You'll be seeing more videos about that, more in-depth videos about, what's coming up for the next step, because guys, it is amazing what we have going on, and it's just the beginning. Okay, so we're super excited about all of that stuff for EduPlay, and we'll talk more about that. And then that leads into a lot of moms were looking at homeschooling. Obviously, we know that this school year did not end the way that we wanted it to. We just wrapped up preschool for my daughter, and it was a drive-through ceremony. So we drove through, we picked up their things in a bag. All the teachers had masks on. They stood on the sidewalk. We were in our car, and we took a picture in our car. It definitely brought tears to my eyes, but I'm trying to keep it all together for her because I don't want her to know how emotional I am, saying that it shouldn't have ended this way for her. So I know a lot of moms that then are on the fence, kind of talking about maybe homeschooling next year or for the foreseeable future. We don't know what is going to be happening next year. I know that I'm out of the school system. Like I was a former elementary and special education teacher, if anyone didn't know that. But my mom is still in the school system. I still have a lot of teachers in the school system, and it's going to look different. There's a lot of changes that are going to be happening. We've seen those graphics going around that they're going to have to wear masks, or the teachers are going to have to wear masks, or no recess, no cafeteria, no. Who knows what really is going to happen in the fall? But I know homeschool is on some of your minds. And I will let you know a little bit about my journey with homeschool and some of the info that I have. And then we're going to make that a two-parter. So not only are we going to talk more about EduPlay within the next week, I'm also going to bring some homeschool moms and coordinators on next week to talk even more in depth. So I'll have some homeschool moms as guests next week. So we will continue the homeschool chat next week. So I'm going to answer some comments here. And also, I have, of course, it's a pink wine glass. I have all of my names in here for the May winners. And we will do that later. So, and you are either going to win. So, guys, I didn't tell anyone this, but we did that girls' night out and we did One Hope wine. Best thing ever. Miss Christine now. Christine is now has a link that you guys can order One Hope wine, and it comes to your door in 2 to 3 days, and then it helps charities too. But guys, it's amazing. So I'll let you guys in on that secret as well. There's so much stuff going on back here. It's amazing. So Jessica said, yep, sounds like my day. I love you, Olivia, but she makes me so tired. Oh man, girl, I hear you. So literally, we say one thing to our kiddos and we say, okay, I'm going to give you, this was that example that I shared, that meme with all of those things that were so real, that made us laugh and made us crazy. And it was like, here's a banana. I know you love bananas. Here you go. They take one bite and they're like crying, like, I didn't want a banana. This isn't what I really wanted, been there. I've been there 1,000 times. My aunt would joke with me and say she called it the Ella buffet because I know it's not the right thing. Don't judge me here. But it was literally, and I read this somewhere, and it kind of, this is why I do this. But, she'll start eating something and be like, I don't really want that. Okay, well then let's give you something else. What do you really want? So it would kind of be the Ella buffet is what it was called because I would just give her a variety of things, and it was all healthy stuff, but sometimes they don't know. Think about us as adults. Sometimes we go to the pantry, we go to the fridge, and we stand there and we say, what do I really want to eat? I know I've done this 1,000 times. And think about as a kid, you say, okay, do you want a pancake or a waffle? This was the example I heard. Do you want a pancake or a waffle? And they say, you know what, I want a waffle. You make the waffle, you put it in, they get it on their plate, and they're like, that's not really what I wanted. I really wanted a pancake. So that's a silly example, but sometimes they just don't know, So I get you. I understand. It's frustrating for sure. Hey, Hongcha, how are you? Emma said, I met the best people at women's study and MOP since moving to Pittsburgh. Yes, I couldn't agree more with you, Emma. It's been absolutely amazing. We were in the same women's study together. Now it's all virtual. And Emma was going to a different MOPS. I never was actually in a MOPS, but Emma was in the MOPS, and amazing, amazing people, because a lot of the people in that MOPS group that Emma was in, I actually knew. So it's so great to find your group, and we're going to talk about that of how are we going to find those group of moms. So Jessica said, I don't have many mom friends. A lot of my friends aren't moms yet, so we don't really interact anymore. It's so true. It's that's a huge reason, that you're going to start growing apart, because you are now focused on your kiddos and you're focused on your world essentially revolves around their schedule, and I know that my brother mentions that to me, like, well, what are you, aren't you going to do this? And I'm like, they're eating right now. I'm not going to make them upset. We're going to eat dinner and then we'll go do X, Y, and Z, you know? And yes, it comes to a point where obviously we're in charge, it's our schedule, but you know your kids, you know your tolerance on any given day. And the best thing about my husband and I is we bounce off of each other so well. Like some days my patience is totally thin and I'm done. You know, I just can't take anymore. And he's right there to scoop up behind me and say, okay, guys, it's all right. We're going to do this, this, and this, you know. And then today it was the opposite. You know, Alex was giving my husband a hard time. He was just like, you know, it was a typical thing. Like, he wanted to do this. He said he was going to do this. And then he started crying when, you know, my husband was like, okay, now it's time. And so my husband was getting frustrated, and I had that calm today. It just, it's different. It varies every day. So it's kind of hard to understand that, you know, if you don't have kids, you know, if you're not around kids a lot, to know, like, listen, I just want to make them happy right now. Like, I just don't want to deal with a meltdown. I don't want to deal with them crying. Like, I'm going to give them their food. We're going to watch a show. And we're going to go to bed, whatever it may be, you know, and just trying to keep that schedule, you know, smooth, right? Just trying to keep it as smooth as we can. So I get you, Jessica, for sure. Hey, Brittany. How are you, love? Hey, Emma. Jessica said she's drinking hers now. Yes, me too. I finished my bottle off at dinner tonight. It worked perfectly with our chicken, homemade chicken tenders that my husband made. So yummy. Hung Chan said the wine she picked was so yummy. It was a rosé, wasn't it? And Jessica, we picked some peach, pomegranate, bubbly. We had some bubbly stuff. We had tons of fun at our girls' night out, and we will definitely do that again. Okay, I have big plans. I have lots. Guys, I have so much stuff to tell you. I can't even tell you all in one time. I drank my bottle the other night. Yes, the whole bottle. Brittany, I hear you. Brittany's going through a lot of sleep regression now with her son. So we're going to talk about that another episode as well, because that's a huge thing too. How they can sleep great one night and then it kind of changes. So I get you. Melissa said, I love One Hope Wine. Yeah, Melissa, you signed up, girl, as a preferred customer, which I love. So the best part about it is if you get a half a case, you save 15%. If you get a whole case, you save 30%. If you sign up as a preferred customer, you get free shipping. Like, it was a no-brainer. It was so wonderful. Hey, Sarah. Jessica said I might be doing that tonight. Yes, drinking the whole bottle. I hear you. Emma said, yeah, I told you the wine was. Yes, Emma, you did tell me that you were a One Hope. You had heard of that, and you've been, I forget what the word you used, but you've been using it often. Customer. All right. So I am sorry. I'm going to pop this down, but actually, I'm actually not, because I'm going to read from some of this. This is from my friend Kim, that is a big part of the homeschool group here in like the Robinson Moon area. So it's like the Pittsburgh Airport area homeschool. So we're going to get to that later. Okay, we're going to talk about that. So right now we're going to talk about friends. So obviously, hi, Katie. We've been talking about friends. We've been talking about, you know, getting those mom friends. You know, some of them don't have kids. Some of them, now that you are a mom and they're a mom, maybe it's different perspectives on things. So then you're kind of growing apart because of that. You know, maybe you don't want your kid exposed to what they're allowing their kid exposed to, so you kind of grow apart that way. So there's a variety of reasons why it can be challenging to have mom friends at this time. And one of the, a couple of the suggestions that I was reading in this book was, and some of the things I'm going to share with some of the kids this week, because it's Friendship Week in our VIP group, is really, you know, finding someone that has the same interest in you. And that could be hard now that we are at home, you know, but it's also finding someone maybe in a Facebook group. Maybe, you know, use hashtags and you find someone with the same interests, such as dog lovers or wine lovers, or, you know, maybe they like to go to the park with their kiddos. So, you know, going to the park and you meet the friends there at the park, the moms at the park there, and you kind of start talking to those moms. And then you start building those relationships then. So I have to tell you, and you guys probably will laugh at this, there was a time in my life that I was shy and I didn't really want to go up and talk to someone. I didn't want to approach them. What I don't know what exactly changed in my life that kind of made it a little bit different, but sometimes it's you taking that first step. Okay, it's that first, hi, how are you? You know, and I think a lot of it for me, I kind of changed things. And you compliment people. People will love compliments, and it builds that relationship then, so you can compliment them on what they're wearing. You can compliment them on how their hair looks, or their lipstick or their jewelry, or just starting to kind of break that ice. And then it really starts to build that friendship and that relationship. And I think that is a really good icebreaker. Even today we were at the park, and it's, we have the dog, we have the kids, and, kids, they just walk up to each other. They don't care. They don't care about anything. And they just walk up and say, hey, you want to play? And I love that. Their innocence, their love for everyone. It's so amazing to me. And I think sometimes as adults, we forget about that. We forget how easy and how innocent it really could be. We could have that moment where we think that they're judging us, or we think that, they're looking at us funny, or because you never know, they maybe look at you thinking that you've got it all together, and man, I really wish I had the courage to go up and talk to that person, And so sometimes it's just kind of taking that first step and saying like, hey, how are you doing today? Finding things that are in, same interest, like Emma was saying about going to a Bible study or a MOPS group or preschool, you're talking to the moms there. Brittany, you were my first friend when we moved here. Brittany, I'm going to cry. I love you so much. Thank you so much. That was so special. And I really want that for this group. I know Sharon and I were talking about that one time, about kind of making a welcoming group. And I know right now we have moms from all over the world in this group. Obviously, we were founded here in Pittsburgh, so a lot of the following is in Pittsburgh. But that doesn't mean we can't have more of a following in other cities. Some of you may know that I'm having a huge transition to Augusta, Georgia. And I've already started making connections down there in Augusta through this group, through a mom in this group. And I've already started connecting with moms down there. So we are really looking to expand this to all areas and all groups. And if we had a welcome committee for each area that we had a group in, think about that, guys. Think about when you're moving to a new area, how awesome it would be to have kind of like a mom to, show you around, or, introduce you to her friends. So think about that. Give me some hearts, give me some love on that, because I'd love to know what areas you guys are in, and let's make this happen. Momspiration412 is the Pittsburgh branch of it, okay? Momspiration, whatever area code you're in, we're going to make it happen. You let me know, and we're going to make it happen, okay? Because the whole mission of this is to support and encourage each other and educate. That's where the EduPlay comes in, okay? And it's really finding those moms and finding that connection for them. So education for the kids and connections for the moms, it's huge for me. So let me know what you guys think about that. But that is huge for the plans of this. And Jessica said, I'm so happy, but I'll miss you. So Jessica, let me tell you this. I'm going to tell you guys all a secret right now. My family, my entire family, and so is my husband's entire family, is here in Pittsburgh, okay? With the exception of my sister. She's in North Carolina, and my aunt in New Jersey. Everyone else is in Pittsburgh. My plan is to come up often, okay? And it may only be for a week or a month or whatever, a couple weeks. But when I do come up, we are going to have live sessions. We are going to come up and we're going to have Mom's Night Out. We're going to come up and we're going to have play dates at the park, okay? So listen, I'm not actually leaving you, okay? We're just making this bigger and better. And I'm actually going to have some of the moms on my team run these live sessions and these, educational play dates that I call them, the EduPlay, live. They're going to be the ones, bringing the moms together, opening the place that we rent, whatever. And then I will be with you virtually via the TV. So I'll still be able to be a part of the group with you. So big plans. Like I said, I got lots of great things coming for you guys. Aw, Emma said, I'll move to Georgia for you. I love it there. Yeah, I am so excited. The houses we've seen down there are beautiful. The weather's beautiful. So we're super excited about that. But that's a whole nother show. So guys, stick with me. I'm going to be posting you a schedule of what we're going to be talking about week to week, because we are going to talk about relocation. I know so many of you have relocated, even if it's not to Pittsburgh, even if it's to a different city or from, wherever, from Pittsburgh to another city. We're going to talk about relocation and some of the things that I should expect, and some of the things that we can help other moms that are new to our area or the area that they're in. Jessica said, you're going to make me cry, happy tears. Oh my God, this is making me so happy. I know. I'm trying not to cry up here, guys. I'm going to drink some more wine. I'm almost out here. I might have to bust open someone's winning bottle here. So, I won't do that, but I will order more. All right. So the next thing then is going to be talking about EduPlay. So we talked about making friends. If you guys have any more questions or have any other suggestions or ideas, let me know. Pop them in the comments, or if you have anything that you want me to talk about. Like if you have a question about, well, I've done X, Y, and Z, but, we don't build that, the friendship doesn't go further. Maybe it's just not, it's not ready. It's not there, and it could be one party or the other, but who knows? You never know someone's situation. You never know what's going on behind their doors at their house. So a lot of times I just give people a lot of grace, a lot of love. I send them my love, my prayers, and just hope that they're doing well. And, they'll come around, they'll be friends, or, they'll find someone that they really need in their life. So, but if you guys have any more questions about making friends, even for our kids, let me know, and we'll chat more about that. But right now I'm going to move on to EduPlay and then homeschooling. And they kind of go together in a way, because a lot of the reason why I created EduPlay was because of my tagline. I always say, see each moment as a chance to learn. That was the first part of my tagline from the time I started. And I just added, create and have fun recently as we've started to rebrand things. But the reason I did that is because I truly believe everything that you do with your kids can be an opportunity for them to learn. So when I talked with some of the homeschool moms, like when I was at an event at the Landing, I was a vendor and I was showing off Momspiration, 412, and the homeschool mom came over to me, Kimberly came up to me, and she said, wow, I really love what you're doing. I really think you'd be a great resource for the homeschool community. And I was like, wow, I didn't even really think about it. But that's exactly what they do in the homeschool community. You really are just kind of taking the topics for the day and just let's talk about it. It doesn't have to be so formal and they have to sit in their chair and raise their hand. And, sometimes a lot of that old school education or, public school mentality, if you're going to homeschool, kind of has to be put to the side in a way because it's different. Okay, homeschooling, and I get frustrated with Ella, and we're not even in kindergarten yet, guys, because, they're your kids. They're your kids, and they really, they will push your buttons, to say the least, because they don't have that teacher-student relationship. It's a mom-child relationship. And the one thing that Kimberly mentioned, so I'm going to read some of the things that she mentioned here, and I'm actually going to have her as a guest next week, and 2 other homeschool moms if they'll join me, because I feel like there's so much knowledge there that we can talk about. So with that, I lost my train of thought, what I was going to say. But it's kind of like knowing that all that you do is going to be a part of your curriculum, and kind of being, oh, she said that, some days it's going to be really hard, but eventually it's going to get easier. Eventually, when you set up that schedule, and I talk about this a lot, guys, when you set up that schedule, when you set up that routine for your kids, when you set up the expectations, like this time from 9 to 11 is our schooling time. We're going to sit here and we're going to do our activities. Now, listen, does that mean that they can't get up and take a 5-minute break if they're like just done? Absolutely, go for it. You're in charge of it. That's the best thing about it. So coming from a public school teacher and having my own kids now, I want to tell a lot of you, because I know a lot of moms were talking about it. They're on the fence, like, what do I do? I have to tell you, I was on the fence for at least a year, okay? And Ella was in preschool, okay? So just when she started preschool, I was like, I really want to do this, but I also don't want her to miss out on some of this stuff, and I don't want this, but I really want this. And so a lot of it is write your pros and cons, okay? In your mind, what is she going to benefit, or he is going to benefit from public school? What are they going to benefit from being at home with you for homeschooling? What are the cons to public school? What are the cons for homeschooling? And I have to debunk this myth that, the socialization. Now, I have to tell you, what we did during quarantine was not homeschooling. What we did during quarantine was literally just being in our house. The kids literally had no socialization. A Zoom call is not the socialization that they need. We needed it. That's how we adapted through this time. But that's not what the homeschool communities are about. There are so many different methods to the homeschool communities. And, there are so many events that they get to have put together for them. It's amazing. I have been in the homeschool Pittsburgh Airport one and other ones as well to really, hi, Alita, how are you? Hung Chao said, we love EduPlay. Dylan's learned so much. Oh, I love that. And I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute. EduPlay is my pride and joy right now. I am so blessed to be able to bring that to everyone, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But talking about homeschooling and the socialization, that's kind of what we're talking about right now, is, whenever I was in that group, the homeschooling group, one of the things I did, there was a bug guy, was what his name was, and it was like a bug encounter. And he had it was at the landing, and he had an entire display of bugs. And the amount of information that we learned about bugs from this guy was phenomenal. It was amazing. We have done things at the library. And they bring people from Bayer. They bring people from, all over to really, really give your kids those real life situations. So that is a huge thing that I want to tell you about, like the socialization, like they are getting it because they're meeting with those kids that are in that homeschool group, and they're out there and they're doing tons of things. They have homeschool gym class at the YMCA. They have rollerblading. They have, there's so many activities that they put together for the homeschool group. It's awesome. So, and that kind of leads into a lot about EduPlay and what we do with EduPlay. Because like I said, I say see each moment as a chance to learn, because everything we do is a chance to learn. So the way we have transitioned, and in this group, if you guys noticed, we were doing Start Your Day with EduPlay every day during quarantine. And we did that for 2.5 months, and it was fabulous. We did calendar skills because kids were missing out on that. We did stretches because we needed to move our bodies. And there was an activity or an idea or something to do with your kids every day. Okay, and we have taken that now, and we've even gone one step further into our EduPlay online membership and to our EduPlay activity kits, okay? And what we're doing is we're taking a topic and we're talking about it through the entire week. And now we are going through and we're having a math lesson. We're going through and we're having a reading activity. we're going through and we're having wellness activity or movement or a little class. We're also having a recipe and cooking. And then on Fridays, we have a craft or an activity or an idea or something on Fridays. And then Saturday, we're sharing about it all. So it's a great time. I do live videos, I do pre recorded videos, I do a meet and greet, on Zoom. And we really have an opportunity to kind of bring it all together, and do it virtually, like a preschool class virtually. Oh, I thought you needed me. You're just watering the plants. So if anyone has any questions about that, let me know. Hey, Despina, how are you? Hi, Des. I miss you too. Michelle said her girls love that. Yeah, it's so amazing. It was so awesome what we were doing. And if anyone still wants to be a part of that group, you let me know, because I'm doing a membership right now, the online membership. And then the activity kits that are be coming out, and like I said, I'm going to share more info about that. The activity kits that are going to be coming out, you would literally have everything you need for an entire month in that activity kit, okay? And that is activity worksheets, that is activity games that are going to be laminated that you can use over and over again. So we're taking, like last week we did donuts, okay? A basic topic that kids are going to love to learn about, right? Donuts, they're excited about them, they want to eat them, you talk about sprinkles, so what we did is we made it into math lessons. We counted with the sprinkles. We practiced writing our numbers. We did a reading activity where we did the short U sound, because donut, we use the short U. We also took letters and wrote it inside of a donut, and they were able to then pick something that started with that letter and draw a picture or search for a picture in a magazine or online or just write the word. And then we cooked together. We made donuts together. We did a donut dance for our movement, and then we did a donut craft. And then also on Fridays, we're going to have science experiments. So EduPlay is now really kind of encompassing. It's turning into a curriculum, okay? And it's the very, very early stages of this curriculum, but you are the first people to get the info, okay? So you're getting, and it's perfect for kids ages 2 to 5, 2 to 7, ish. But it's great for younger kids too, because it could be utilized as a mommy me class. You're really just working on them seeing the letters and seeing the numbers and listening to the songs and, listening to a story. So it's another great way to kind of get that interaction. And then you could even, what my gift is, I feel, is I'm able to take that donut activity that we did, and we could take one activity and make it lower level for kids that are younger. We can take it for the preschool, kindergarten age. We can even bump it up for the school age kids, okay? If we wanted to take it up one step further, guys, I got those ideas too. We can even make that happen. But for right now, it's really a great opportunity for them to just see that interaction, those letters, those numbers, the sounds, all of that stuff, and just bringing it all together. So right now, it is 1 week of one whole topic. And this is why it goes so great with homeschooling, because you're getting those math, reading, science, social studies. And obviously, if you were going to homeschool, you would want to incorporate more math. You would want to incorporate more reading. But we could definitely do that, So I'm going to give you a little more info on the homeschooling and some of the curriculum that Kim showed me. And I'm just going to do a little bit of it because, like I said, we're going to have them on next week. But she said there's so much info here. But if you were interested in doing some homeschooling for your kids next year, there is a legal form that you have to complete and send to the superintendent of your school district to let them know that you're going to be homeschooling. You also have to give objectives, and it's not saying that you have to say, I am going to, do all of these things for math and reading and for the entire year. We don't know that. You can plan on a year, but it could change, and that's the best thing about what I do. I am flexible, but I have a schedule, you know? So you kind of have to have that mentality where you have a routine, you have your schedule, but guess what? You got to be flexible because sometimes kids really want to learn about the topic of the day, or something that they see and they're super excited about it. You got to jump on that. You got to say, you know what? You're excited to learn about airplanes. Let's find an airplane book. Let's look online and get an airplane story. Let's, count the airplanes. There's your math. Let's multiply. Anything could turn into a lesson. And that is what the basis of EduPlay is. So if you want more info about that, let me know. And like I said, you're going to be getting more videos throughout the week about that because there's lots of info coming up for that. Melissa said, sign me up. You got it, girlfriend. I am signing you up. I will get you the link and we're going to make it happen. So, and it's perfect. Melissa, I think you mentioned yesterday too, it's great too for boys and girls. So sometimes I do like a strawberry shortcake story, but sometimes I do a superhero story. But it's mostly general, okay? And that's why it's so great because it does go for all kids. And the best thing is with my background in special education, I could help out those kiddos with special needs as well. You just let me know and we'll make it happen. Jessica said, I'm thinking about when Olivia gets a little older. I think right now she might really not get anything out of it. I don't know though. Jessica, remind me how old she is. 18 months or so? And we could chat more about that because I do think that there's a lot you could use out of that. I have to tell you guys something that I'll tell you a little secret. Whenever Ella and Alex were a baby, like a baby, and people would walk into my house and they would think I'm teaching preschool, I literally had the numbers up on the wall. I had the colors right where they would see them. I had a calendar there. They weren't doing any of that stuff. I remember hiring the first person to watch them. Ella was a baby, guys. I was going back to work. And I was like, here's our art room in case she wants to, do some art. She wasn't going to do any of that. But you know what? In my mind, I had everything set up for her and ready to go. So then that way, even as we're sitting there, I was reading to her. I was looking at the cards. She would sit at her high chair at 6 months old, and I would point to the colors. Okay? So it could really be adapted. I was right, 18 months, yeah. We'll talk, Jessica, because I think we could try. You know what I'm going to do? Actually, I'm going to start doing summer camps where you guys can sign up for a week at a time just through this summer to kind of give you an idea if you really feel like it would be something you'd be interested in. And that would be digital. It would be all online. You guys would be responsible for printing out the materials, but you would have access to all the videos. So, Jessica, that may be something that we could try out where it's a week and you could see if she's engaged right now, or you can just wait and we could try it again in, 6 months or something. So think about that too. But guys, I can't give you all my secrets, but I would do so many things that even though the kids were so young, I would be exposing them to a lot of things. And I know, Jessica, you're doing that. You're a teacher as well, so I'm sure you're doing some of that stuff. And that's really what it's all about. It's just exposing them to those things. So, yeah, it's really great. It's lots of fun things. So I'm going to read here. The sky is the limit with these ideas. Wow, what a step up for the children. I know. Thank you, Grandma. It really is exciting. It's exciting to be doing all of this stuff. All right, but I don't want to take up more of your evening. I'm going to wrap up with a few homeschool things, and then we're going to pick our winner. So, Kimberly said, really there's tons of different curriculum, okay? And I'm going to tell you this too. What she told me is if you are in your school district, you actually have access to the books that your kids have or would have if they were in public school. So you can have those for free. Obviously, you would have them for the year and then you would give them back, okay? And the joy about homeschooling is you don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, my kid is at kindergarten and they should be doing all of these kindergarten things. That's what we're striving to do, but all kids learn at different levels. They all learn at different speeds and paces. And your kid could excel in math like they're through the roof. They may be in fourth grade math. And that's the best part about homeschooling, is that you can keep advancing them and advancing them and advancing them to get to that fourth grade math, even if they're in second grade. But their reading may be a little bit low. That's okay. You're working at their level. And I know some schools are going towards this, but it's a little bit different. And especially now, the times have definitely changed, you know. So I've turned and I've decided that we are going to homeschool. I have the background, and if you are interested in that and would like some more info from myself as an educator, like that's definitely something we can talk about, you know. And I could help you out with that kind of stuff. So that is something that is coming up. You know, if you guys have questions about more homeschool, pop them in the comments. We're going to talk more about homeschool next week, all homeschool next week. And like I said, we'll have some guests there because I have my friend Celia that has homeschooled her kids, I think second grade and maybe kindergarten. I can't remember what ages they were at. And they're already in college, or they're already adults now, you know. So she has gone through the process. I have Kimberly that kind of is leading the process here in the Pittsburgh area with the homeschool group that she's in. And I have another friend, Sarah, that she's in my church group, and she is a former teacher and homeschooling as well. So I will try to have all the four of us next week and talk more about that, because I feel like there's so much good information and so many different myths and misleading information, you know, so it's really good to hear it from the people that are doing it. One of the things here is if your kid is already in school and you're going to, so if they're not in school already, there's a form to fill out to say like you are going to homeschool. If they are in school, there's a different form you would have to fill out. So if they were already in the public school system, there's something else you would have to fill out. And Kimberly's going to send them to me, and I can definitely start a homeschool unit here in our group so we could ask the questions in that section. Okay, so we'll do that. And then we'll add those forms in there for you guys for reference. You kind of have to keep a portfolio, and it's different for every person and evaluator. Some people like to make a whole binder of everything that they did for the year, and that's what they take for their evaluation, where other people may take one or two things from each subject and share that. Another thing about it is, one of the things that my friend Celia told me was, you're homeschooling for right now. And it doesn't have to be lifetime. You know, if you decide you want to homeschool this year coming up and you decide it's not for you, okay. You know, there's always the option to go back to public school, or there's always the option to do a private school or a charter school or a cyber school. There are options. You know, it doesn't have to be a lifer kind of decision. You know, it's not like I'm going to homeschool and that's it, you know. Now, for the curriculum, there are lots and lots of different things. So she said for the PA, there's not necessarily a curriculum, but there are requirements about which subjects you're teaching and about like fire and safety, and so different topics per se. And she said she would get more information on that. But the other thing is also knowing that, what was I going to say? The curriculum, knowing that there's also other options out there. She gave me a ton of different curriculum options you can use. I myself, as an educator, I'm actually going to build my curriculum because I have so many resources here at home. And that's something that if someone were interested in something like that, I definitely would work with you. And I can build curriculum from kindergarten to 8th grade easily with the materials that I have in my house. That's a lot of materials, guys. So if that's something that someone was interested in, that's a possibility too. So the possibilities to work with me are endless here because there's so many different resources. So, and there's so many curriculums that are already out there and built. And another thing she said too is it doesn't have to mean that that's the curriculum you stick with and that's it. I'm done. This is the one I'm using. but it doesn't work well, or the kids don't like it, or you don't find your flow. Once you find your flow, and once the kids find the flow, I can only assume it's going to get easier. And you will have your hard days. Trust me, I know that. As a teacher, we have our hard days. I mean, and they're your kids. It's going to be different, But that's why next week I'm really excited to bring some guests on and to kind of share more info about that, because they're going to give you that, like, all right, when I'm in the thick of it, like, how is it going to be? Me, I am looking at it from a preschool, kindergarten kind of perspective right now and kind of the early stages. But I'm also looking at it from that educator standpoint too. So it's just intimidating to me since I don't have an education background. I'm a business major. I totally get that. I totally get that. Like, I do. I feel for you, and I understand that. And that's why I think if you and I, if you were to find a mentor, if you were to find that group, they are going to be able to kind of start walking you through step by step. And it doesn't have to be so intimidating, because you really can't mess it up too much, I think. They're going to be learning, and like I said, we'll talk with more people next week, because they have more of a I'm already in it kind of situation, but I totally get you, Melissa, and I feel you. Because for me, this stuff comes naturally, Now, if you put me in, like, I don't know, business stuff, I may not be as great at it. We all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses, and that goes for our kids too. And a big thing too that I see, I've seen within my family, like, don't compare your kids. Like, this kid can read. Why can Ella read and Alex is not doing something, And I myself even did that. Ella was able to write her name at a very early age, and I was like, well, why can't Alex write his name yet? Well, here it was. He was still too young, And I think sometimes we kind of forget about that. Like, well, you're reading. Why aren't you reading? You're adding, and your numbers and letters, and, and it's really just meeting your kids where they're at with all levels, where they're at with their reading, with their socialization, with their sports, with their activities, meeting them where they're at and saying, okay, we're going to either improve what you're doing. We're going to, if this is a weakness, we're going to make it stronger. And if it's something they really don't enjoy doing, find a way that makes it fun. And that's where EduPlay comes in. Someone asked me, they're like, well, it sounds like it's fun and educating, and that's exactly what it is, okay? It's exactly that concept of taking things that may not be, as fun for the kids or a daunting task. How can we change it up for them? It may be just getting out of their seat and jumping around and counting and spelling. And I have to tell you, I was a tutor for a little boy, and he was not doing well in spelling at all. Like, he was struggling so much. And she said, okay, like, how can you fix this? Obviously I'm not going to fix it, but how can we make him make that connection? Guys, let me tell you what I did. Took them downstairs to my basement. I have a ball pit down there. I had a slide down there. I had balls. Didn't matter if you threw a ball down in that basement. There's nothing on the walls, things like that. And I would throw the ball to him. He would throw the ball back to me. He would jump up and down, and he was spelling his words. The next spelling test, he got an A+ on that spelling test. So it's finding the way that your kids are learning best. And guys, I could go on and on about this. We'll talk more about homeschooling, because it really could go on and on. And I'm assuming the same for private school too. Yeah, I think there definitely will be forms and things to fill out if you were to go to a private school, if you were to withdraw your child from a public school and put them kind of in a private school. That's my mindset too. Try it out. Yes, for sure. So I love it. Good job. So I love it. Thank you so much for responding and commenting, because it's great to, see that everyone has, these different ideas out there. So, sorry guys, I'm a little thirsty. Alita, are you saying like that's your mindset because Melissa, it's like intimidating? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I'm clear here. that like it's intimidating because you don't have that education background. Like if that's kind of what you're thinking, let me know. Because I get that too. I totally do. So, and I think you're right. I think it could be, you just have to tell I talk a lot about mind, and that positive speaking and that positive reinforcement and things like that. And just, saying like, I can do this. I can do this. I mean, I'm teaching a first grader. I'm teaching a third grader. I'm teaching a seventh grader. Like, I can do this. And guys, with the resources that are out there, you could totally do it. Okay. So if you ever need a little pep talk on anything, really, but if you need a pep talk on like schooling, you let me know and I'll help you out. Okay. Because I know you can do it. But if you have any more questions about homeschooling, about EduPlay, or making friends, let me know. I'm going to wrap up tonight because I don't want to go all night. But I'm going to pull our winner. So what I did here is we have Mimi in here. We have Sarah in here. We have Brittany and Katie and Teresa and Hung Chao and Jessica. And some people have 2. She said no. I mean, my mindset is to try it out. If it doesn't work. Oh, yes. Totally. So if it doesn't work, you send them back to school. Absolutely. It's not a life or kind of decision right now. That's totally right. Sorry. I'm sorry. I was talking too much and I missed the comments. For sure. Like, and that was one thing that made my head like calm down a little bit, that, I don't have to say like, this is forever. I could just say it's for this year. It's for right now. And we're going to see the progress, because the thing is, you're going to see so much progress in your kids. And definitely take that, before evaluation, and then take it again at the end of the year. I am so big on that. Obviously, as a special education teacher, we constantly evaluated our kids. And I actually do this with my own kids. Here are the letters. Which letters can you say? Which letters can you say the sounds of? Here are the numbers and write. Which letters can you write? Uppercase, lowercase. Numbers. Which numbers can you identify? Which ones can you write? Give them the exact same thing at the end of the year. And you may already know that they know all of them, but it's so awesome to have that documentation to say, this is where we started and this is where we ended. And guys, it's just going to continue to build over time. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope that was some valuable information. So I am going to pick, and like I was saying, some people have 2 entries in here because they wrote a testimony and they shared some pictures. Some of them are sticking together, trying to make them so they're not. We will also have a contest for in June. I think I'm going to do this every month. And you'll have your option, either an Amazon gift card or a bottle of One Hope wine. I don't know if you guys can see. There's a glare. One Hope wine. It could be this bottle or it could be something different. You can let me know. I'm fine with that. Yes, having a baseline is essential to the growth. Absolutely. Alita, what is your background? I hope I'm saying your name right, too. All right, guys. Ready? We're going to mix it up. I wish my girl Ella was here. She's good at this. All right, so I have everyone's name in here. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Drum roll, please. All right, I'm going to pull from the bottom. Here I go. I got one. Mimi, you are the winner. Congrats, Mimi. So you have your choice of either a bottle of wine or an Amazon gift card. And don't worry, for you ladies that were in here, I will have something special for you as well. So I will private message you to all of my entries, and you will get a special bonus too. Social work, yes. So you know, you understand for sure. So if you have any other questions about homeschooling, I will make a thread. I will start making a thread about that. So then that way, whenever we have our guests next week, we can ask them our questions, okay? And we can kind of have this conversation going. Because I know a lot of it was like behavior was one of the questions, how do we get our kid to behave? I have so many different strategies and techniques for that as well. That could be a whole nother episode, okay? A whole nother show. So I'm actually going to write that down now that I'm thinking about it. Behavior while educating. And it could be behavior for a lot of things. So I will do a whole episode on behavior because there's definitely a lot of techniques you can do and a lot of different things that you could do at home to kind of motivate your kids. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Yes, congrats to Mimi. I will tell her that she's the big winner tonight. So if you guys, like I said, any more questions, making friends, if anyone needs a friend in this group, please reach out. Send me a private message. I am also going to start different threads or different questions. Like, I know I have a lot of moms in this group that either recently had a baby or are pregnant, and kind of finding that group of moms that are kind of at the same level. I have moms that have kids that are 18 months old. Let's get together and find moms that have kids that are 18 months old. Uh-oh. It says we're having trouble playing this video. All right, I think my time is up. I am going to sign off. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful evening. Have a fabulous week. And remember, guys, see each moment as a chance to learn, create, and have fun. Sending you so much love, hugs, happiness, and health. Bye, guys.